And happy Thursday, folks. Happy Thursday, January 14th, 2021, and welcome back to another... I can't really say that today, though, can I? Because today is going to be a little bit different. If you see the title for the stream, if you see the category that we're streaming under today, if you've been attempting to tune into the stream or you've been following the Twitter feeds for the channel the last few days, you know that this is not a normal stream today. But nonetheless, you have found yourself at Quarters Without Borders, where we do our best to play today for a better tomorrow. I'm your host, usually. My name is Kyle. And let me welcome you to the channel. I see we got a few folks in the room already. Trash Panji, Mr. Magana. Hope you're all having great days so far, a great week. And thank you. I did get a new haircut. It's a little floppy today. Hasn't been put up yet, but if anyone is in the Columbus area and is looking to get their hair cut or would like their hair styled or anything to do with their hair, send me a private message. I cannot recommend my hair lady enough. She's got 20 plus years of experience. Stumbled upon her on a whim and she does a fantastic job. Or if anyone wants to take dance lessons too. How's everybody doing out there? Trash Panji, I imagine you're working from home again today. Mr. Magana, I imagine you're at the office today, I think, right? You don't get off till 6, if I remember correctly. Anybody else that might be out there, welcome back to the channel. If you're catching it live, we're going to be going into some details, little Q&A session as well, any information you guys might want to know about the channel going forward, and I'll, of course, explain what's been going on the last few days. And if you're catching it on the archives later, just send me PMs, I guess, private messages, and we'll figure things out. Lady Dragana, happy Thursday. It's not only a happy Thursday, it's going to be a thunderous, metaphorically speaking, Thursday. It's actually kind of relatively warm today. It's going to be, I think, in the mid-40s, at least here in central Ohio. Secretly streaming. Well, no sweat. No sweat. What we're going to be on for, depending on how long the Q&A session goes, I mean, I'll probably speak here for about 10, maybe 15 minutes, and then we'll kind of just open the floor to chit-chat. The category today is just chatting, so kind of a little bit more informal of a stream. Of course, as you can see, we're going to dress up to be more informal, if that makes sense. But we'll probably stream for about half an hour, to about 11:30 this morning, Eastern Standard Time, of course. Give some folks that usually arrive late to the channel a chance to log on, tune in, answer everyone's questions, and that'll kind of lay out the roadmap, at least for the rest of January and going into February, and where the channel's going to go from there. Never fear, the channel is not stopping, the channel is not dying. Let me assuage those concerns right off the bat. And the outpouring of support the last few days, a number of folks that have sent me messages asking about what's going on, is everything okay, has been outstanding. Like, thank you so much for those of you that are concerned. Everything's good. Everything is awesome, as a certain favorite movie of mine likes to proclaim. Okay. So, excuse me, the juicy details. Shall we go into it? So, for those of you that tried logging on Monday morning, I think a few hours before we would normally go live, I put out a tweet on the Twitter channel saying that our stream was going to be delayed for some reasons, and there'd be an update coming soon. And then, of course, that update didn't come out on Tuesday. Nor did it come out on Wednesday, but it is here. It is here today because we've finally been able to get a grasp on this giant curveball of a lemon that life has thrown at me. And the good thing is I've got a giant juicer in the back, so we're going to make some epic lemonade out of this. Have you ever been in a situation, and I'm sure we can all relate to this, where you got all your ducks lined up in a row. You're like, okay, I'm going to do this and this. Maybe you're planning a trip and you have your itinerary scheduled out. Or maybe you're building a giant domino picture that you're going to click one domino and it's going to fall in a nice chain reaction and make this amazing viral video. You know, somewhere in between that spectrum of extremes. And all of a sudden, without, out of the blue, comes an unexpected obstacle. Maybe on that itinerary you have a whole day planned outside, and then, a tropical storm rolls in. Or maybe your cat runs into the room and knocks the dominoes over prematurely. Something that, while statistically speaking, it is accountable, also statistically speaking, it was so unlikely that you didn't really pay any credits. And all of a sudden now you have to shift and have up a new plan. I'm pretty sure everything was still awesome in the sequel. It has been a while since I've seen the sequel. So those situations, I think, if you've been in those situations, you can understand what we're going through and how unexpectedly it was come this morning. So one little bit of background as we dive into it. Last week, well, come with me on this mental journey. Let's go back a little bit even further. I moved into my current apartment, where I'm at right now. I moved in either June or July of 2020. So I've been here a little over 6 months at this point. About the halfway point. And about 3 months ago, we all got a letter, and this community does a really nice job of open lines of communication with the residents. So we get like a monthly newsletter, and it's got like recipes and seasonal things and stuff in it. So it's really, really kind of nice. But they sent out a notice saying that they were going to be renovating the entire apartment complex, which is cool. By no means is it like a bad apartment complex, but it's kind of old, if you know what I mean. It's probably built in the 60s based on like the architecture and things. So it could use some modernizing. But for what it is, price point and stuff, it's nothing to complain about. So like, okay, this will be cool. They're gonna renovate the apartments. I'm totally on board with that. However, the note also went into details that the renovations were going to be so extensive that they were going to do them in sections throughout the complex. And when your section was being renovated, you would have to move out for about a month to 2 months. And they would help you find a new apartment in the interim that you would then have to sign up a lease with and rent for 2 months while still paying rent here. Although they would, in their vague words, they would help to defray the costs, whatever that might mean. And then after the renovations were complete, you could move back in. And that was going to happen in this kind of rolling wave of renovations over the course of the next year. Now, when I signed on my lease, I only signed up for a year. So I would be moving out this summer. So I had my fingers crossed that I was not going to have to be caught in that rolling wave of renovations. Because for someone that moves off an awful lot, if you know me personally, you know I move a lot. I had no intention of moving for 2 months and then moving back, only to move out in another 2 months. And the whole idea of double paying rent because of their renovations, it didn't sit well with me. So I was really hoping that I would dodge that bullet when I moved out this summer. Oh, hey, it's Jose. Welcome to the channel. I guess I can't really hide your identity with that one. Good morning, sir. I don't know how you're tuning in live, but welcome. Long time no see. This is not how a normal stream goes, by the way. Just in case you're curious. And Mr. Magana, I talked with Subs about moving into your basement, so who knows? I might be moving into your basement here in a couple weeks. Just kidding. Okay, but fast forward. Okay, 6 months ago, I get this notice. Massive renovations are coming. Fingers crossed, I dodged the bullet. Nothing I can really do about it. Last week, so now this is the beginning of January, we get another notice saying that with respect to the renovations, every tenant here in the apartment complex is going to have individualized meetings with the apartment staff, I guess, like the landlord essentially, the management staff that run this complex. And my meeting was scheduled for 9 a.m. Monday morning. This was this Monday. And they were like, have these documents with you, like have like identification with you. They wanted like tax returns from last year. It's just all this like really random stuff. And I was like, okay, like I can do that. This document right here, and I'm not going to flip it over because it shows a bunch of personal sensitive information, but actually I could probably do this. Zah. So this was notice of appointment for, I guess, January 4th was when the notice came out for Dear Kyle White. That's the address right there. And it was set for 9 a.m. on the 11th. I was like, okay, this will be cool. It was like 2 or 3 pages of stuff, which I kind of skimmed over. So I get my documents in order. Head over there at 9 a.m. before the stream, mind you. Sit down, and the gist of the conversation goes something like this. Kyle, how's your day going? Hope it's going well. As you may know, our apartment complex is being handed over to the state to be turned into low-income housing. And as part of that process, all the residents are required to undergo basically like low-income housing rental assistance applications through the state. Now, they had me up to, as you know, because I was not aware of any of this. And especially someone that was moving in within the last 6 months, I feel like I should have known this was coming. But there had been no hints beforehand. So they're like, here's all this stuff that we need from you to go through this application. So, of course, I had my passport and, like documents, all sorts of documents that I had to go acquire. And this is probably about half of what I actually needed to have. I didn't have the other half. I didn't have copies of my birth certificate. I didn't have enough statements from my bank, and they wanted assets and tax returns out the wazoo. They wanted everything. And then there was a spot where you're going to sign your soul away on the dotted line. But I was like, hang on. I'm moving out. That was the same line of reasoning I took Trash Panji. I was like, I'm moving out in 6 months. I'm moving out, I think, June or July, whenever my lease was up. Like, is this mandatory? Do I have to do this? Like, I do not intend on staying. Like, just let me coast it out. And they're like, they went and talked back in the shop, so to speak, and they came back and they're like, no, this is mandatory. Because, and it's not their requirement, it's the state's requirement. Because the state has essentially already taken over. They've already started issuing the funds to finance the renovations. Those renovations that they were talking about, those overhauled renovations, were being financed by the state and are happening now. There's actually units at the end of my block that are already currently under renovation. So because the money was already in the works. Yeah, then you get like the red tape, right? The bureaucratic red tape involved. But because it's already happening, I guess just grandfathering me in was not an option. So I'm like, okay, so what if I choose not to do this? And they're like, well, the only way out is you'd have to do an early move out. And then, of course, that would incur like penalties. You'd have to pay so many months of rent for the gap in between. I'm like, whoa. Hold up. Nobody told me this when I moved in. If I would have known that I was going to have to provide, half of my life history within 6 months of moving in or get kicked out, I would have not moved in here. I would have moved somewhere else. And they're like, well, we told you. We told you when you moved in. And I was like, no. Nobody. I moved in 6 months ago. I remember pretty clearly. Nobody told me anything. And then the next sentence was, well, Leslie told you when you moved in. And I was like, yes, Leslie is the person that moved me in. But no, Leslie did not tell me anything. Oh, well, Leslie doesn't work here anymore. Great. Well, I reaffirm. Nobody told me anything. Yes, we did. And at that point, I'm not the proudest to say my patience was evaporated. And as much as you try to focus on being aware of your responses and staying calm, you feel the bile start to rise. So then it became a little pointed. It was like, the burden of proof is on you. Show me the document proving that you informed me that this was happening at the time of me signing my lease. Which, of course, they had no document. And I was like, let's go through the lease, shall we? As far as what I signed and what you have on record saying we agreed to. And of course, there will be nothing in there saying that this was a requirement to continue living here or, blah, 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 blah. Not my finest moment. Either way, though, I had the upper hand. Oh, it's just too much of a mess to go through. So, suffice it to say, I'm moving out. And they were going to keep me through February, but being, on this roller coaster of emotion and momentum, I was like, no, I'm not paying you another dime. I'm paid through January. I'm out at the end of January. And then I realized it was like 20 days away. So I signed the document, no penalties, everything's kosher. I think they were just glad to be done with that issue. You could see the lady sitting across from me was very uncomfortable. But, yeah, I'm moving out. I don't think I'm going to be able to get them to do that. But I'm going to be moving out. I'm going to be moving into a new apartment, and essentially as of Monday, I had 20 days. I had till the 31st of January to be out. And when that kind of curveball is thrown at you, it kind of takes precedence. Hence, there was a lot of really quick apartment searching. There was a really quick of apartment calling, scheduling visits to go tour new apartments, trying to find stuff. And then, of course, soul searching to find out what I wanted to do. Because if I sign another lease, it's going to be at least a year. So where do I see myself for the next year? Where do I see the channel going for next year? Where do I see the important things that I want to accomplish in my life going the next year? Because I was on the assumption I had 6 more months to figure that stuff out. So that, folks, is why there has not been a stream this week until today. And things should start to return to normal next week, at least as far as the channel is concerned. So I apologize for not being as transparent as I probably could have been. The last few days, it's just been a whirlwind of things, but that's not an excuse. So to you as my viewers, I'm sorry, and I will try to do better next time as far as keeping everybody illuminated as to what is going on. But I want to hopefully sway any concerns that the channel is dying or disappearing or anything like that. We will be powering forward, although there will be some minor changes to the schedule through the rest of this month simply to accommodate that move. The last few days have not been spent in vain toward a couple different units. I have my eyes on a unit that I am very hopeful to acquire, and I had the green light to submit an application, so I will hopefully be doing the application this afternoon or tomorrow and submitting it. And if everything goes well, I'll be approved, and I can probably begin moving in at the end of the month. So the transition and everything should be fine. Everything should work out okay. It's just, especially that last week of January, things may be a little light on the channel front as I'm making sure I can get everything from this apartment to the new one. So yeah, short and long, folks. We will have new digs in about 2 weeks. The unit I'm moving into is a little bit smaller. This is currently where I'm at right now is a 2-bedroom apartment, which allows me to have this wonderful studio space. I have an entire room dedicated just for streaming between 3 desks, 2 computers, the game station, the 3 lights, the green screen. This room is packed to the gills just with streaming. So I'm moving into a 1-bedroom. It's slightly smaller. So we'll have to see how the layout's going to work. It may change slightly, so bear with me on that. But I'm pretty positive it's going to come out for the best. The last thing I kind of want to go into here is, I guess, the mental reasoning behind the decision. And where you can think of this channel is going, what we're going to be doing with this channel the rest of this year. So that, Mr. Magani, that kind of ties into a little bit of what I'm going to talk about next as far as what I wanted to do. Because the original plan with this apartment I'm in right now was to rent for the duration of this lease through the summer and then purchase some land or purchase like an old house or something and move in. I wanted to own after so many years of renting. The decision I had to make, because the timeline was advanced 6 months on me, is do I find another apartment kind of like this, which is like it was really affordable. It was very comfortable to afford it. That way I could save a little bit extra cash toward a down payment, toward a deposit, stuff like that. If I find another lease, it's going to be another year. So do I essentially add another 6 months to my waiting game, to my saving game? Or do I just charge forward 6 months ahead of schedule? And if you know me, you probably know what decision I chose to make. So we're charging forward 6 months ahead of schedule. Now that means I'm not going to be able to secure a house or like a mortgage or anything like that within 2 weeks. So we're going with another apartment, and we'll sign a 1-year lease. Motorcycle to sell. Now, that's still happening. The motorcycle to Seattle is still happening. I'm sure I could find, there's a couple places that offered short-term leases, but I'm kind of shaking up the game here. I'm shaking up my mind game. So I'm going to rent. It's going to be a little bit more expensive than I'm currently living, but I think the trade-offs, the energy, the positivity I'll get from that new space will be good. I'm really excited to go full hog into this channel. There's a couple side projects I've been talking about on this channel for a while now that I'm really looking forward to embracing, especially with the new space. I think that's going to provide the trigger or the impetus to really help create more change, create more positive. The way to look at this, if you find yourself in a similar situation, is it can be very overwhelming. It can be very intimidating. It can seem like you have no route forward to go, whether you're occurring something similar to what I have, or we have whatever has come up in your own life. And whatever it is, you can view it as an obstacle. And an obstacle is just something that's trying to impede your progress. And one of the hardest things to do, especially if you don't have a lot of experience with dealing with and overcoming obstacles, is not labeling your obstacle as positive or negative. I think another way of describing this would be like stress management. How well do you deal in a time of crisis? And if you're not someone that's been in a situation where you've had to deal with a lot of crises, you have to think on your feet, you have to adapt. If your life isn't that tumultuous, when those things come into your life, you don't really have a lot of experience to fall back on. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's then in that case, it's doubly more important to not label your obstacle as a negative thing. It's simply an obstacle. And I would do you one better and say you should label it as a positive thing. Because, we're going to get a little cliche here, but you can't have light without darkness. You can't have happiness without sadness. You can't have triumph without failure. So when an obstacle presents itself in your life, you have now been blessed with an opportunity to exceed your expectations. Prove to yourself that you are more capable than you thought possible. Rise to the occasion, and not only is it another bit of XP you can slide in your back pocket for the next time a crisis comes along, but it builds that resiliency and that self-confidence to tackle whatever life may throw at you down the road. So whatever you may be going through in your own lives, hopefully this is something I can share with you. Maybe it's just something that's motivational, but that's exactly the way I'm viewing this. It's 6 months ahead of schedule. Financially, I might not be ready and I have to kind of change my plans a little bit. But we're going to use this for what it is. It's a chance to shake up the space, to shake up the energy. It's a trigger. It's an impetus. Let's use this to start these ideas that I've been sitting on for this channel and blossom into something big. The outpouring of support and explosion of the channel in the last couple weeks has been phenomenal, and I don't want to let that wither. So we're gonna run with it. We just need to change spaces. So there's all that going on. There's a lot of really cool stuff. And yeah, that's awfully really hard. It's often very, very hard to do, to try to step back from you as a person and how this obstacle is negatively impacting your life and looking at all the ways it provides you with a route to be successful, to exceed, to become a stronger, better version of yourself. So I'm probably saying this as much to reinforce my conviction in my actions as I am to hopefully inspire you, but hopefully that was worth the oxygen it took to say that. But yeah, on the dance side of things, of course, those of you that know, I'm a ballroom dance instructor. I'll be focusing heavily on that this coming year, heavily on the channel, and of course the parallel subsidiary branches of the channel that will be blossoming. Yeah, as oh hey, it's Jose pointed out, I am planning a big cross-country motorcycle trip this year with a couple close compatriots. There's a good chance that we'll be blogging that, or I don't know if we'll be streaming that because we'll be on the road the whole time, but I'd love to put that into some sort of channel form, make it this kind of cross-country tour. Mr. Magana, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for hearing the stream out. We will be back. So look at normal scheduling next week, starting Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard. Back to gaming, back to Bloodborne, of course. But best of luck with the rest of your Thursday, good sir. So yeah, in a nutshell, folks, that was my little diatribe. I talked for way longer than I thought I would. Feel free to throw any questions. If anybody has any questions, wants to know more about it, what's going on, where the channel is going to go. You don't have to have questions. I just figured this would be a great chance to have a little conversation. Or anything in general, if you're like, what's your favorite food or something. But we'll go. We got about another 5 minutes or so. We'll go to 11:30, and we'll wrap up this Thunderous Thursday a little early. And yeah, give me a chance to work on that rental application. So I know Denny Von Doom, shout out by the way, is not currently here. I don't think he is currently watching, but I did have a notification saying Denny Von Doom rated you with a party of 10. Now, I don't actually know what that means, but if anyone here is familiar with how Twitch functions or Twitch works, and you happen to know what a raid means, I'm familiar with it in a gaming term, like there are raids within games, but what that means on Twitch, I don't know. Oh, Denny Von Doom, you're here. Speak of the devil. Happy Thursday, happy Thursday. No, I got a notification saying you rated you with a party of 10. I don't know what that means or how that works. And I feel bad because I'm sure it happened in the midst of all of this, so we probably weren't streaming to either accept your raid. Oh, man, I'm so sorry. I wish we were here. What does it mean? What does that mean when you rated me? Is that kind of like a meta game kind of a thing we can play? There's so many inner workings to this Twitch system that I have to figure out. There's so many cool ideas. Google it, and you were the last time he was on the radar. He popped up in the chat. Oh, really? Cool. I didn't know that. Rating is a process. Oh, wow. That's awesome. Is that something that I have access to? On my account? I don't know if I have access to that where I'm at right now. I got some homework. You don't have to answer that. I'll look it up. That sounds really cool because there's a number, I know you, and there's a number of other folks that are in the chat that are part of our community that do stream. And I think that'd be a really cool thing because I know there's folks that may have some more time or in different time zones that after I stream in the morning, I could send people to different channels. Okay, cool. I have to look into that. See, the more you learn something new every day. Well, thank you for rating me. That sounds kind of weird, but thank you. That's really cool, man. I appreciate it. I will raid you back. So yeah, just the short of the long here. We're moving apartments in 2 weeks. So that's why we haven't been on the last few days, because that just happened. And we'll get utilities shifted over. We'll get everything figured out for the new apartment. And we'll be back. So things will be a little different the next couple of weeks. I do plan on streaming regularly throughout the week, Monday through Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That hopefully will not change. Long plays, excuse me, we're gonna play by ear, because I do have quite a bit of stuff to pack up and figure out how I'm going to move. So I may be using that weekend time to actually pack. But I don't want to go. I do want to try to incorporate as much of the usual streaming stuff as possible. Yeah, the short of the long there, Denny, is the lease isn't up for 6 months, but through bureaucratic politics, I found out on Monday that I am moving out at the end of the month. So I've got basically 20 days to find a new apartment and get everything moved. But it's a good thing. It's a positive thing. And we will be okay. So I'm sending an application today. So that hopefully explains what's been going on with the channel, why we've been down. I try to put out notifications on Twitter. It's Quarters Without Borders, or hashtag. I don't think there's hashtags on Twitter. I don't know. Just trying to sound young and hip. I think it's at Quarters Without. And of course, I'll have this video hosted. This will be up on the Twitch channel throughout the weekend, of course, and then I'll have this copied over to the archives on YouTube, Quarters Without Borders. So hopefully that'll answer any questions folks might have. It is. It was very sudden, but I think we were able to adapt to it. We lost a week, and for that, of course, I apologize. We had so much great momentum, and I feel like I fumbled the ball on this one. But I don't know. I still have a very positive feeling about this year. The energy this year is going to be fantastic, and I'm really excited to see what we can do with the channel and all the other random adventures going on. So, I don't know. I guess just I wanted to give an update to everybody that was asking. Hopefully, I was able to answer some questions, clear up the fog that had kind of settled onto the channel, that thick bloodborne mist. But never fear, we are not stopping. We are going strong. We're going stronger than ever, actually. We're going to be, especially once we get moved. But bear with me the next couple weeks. I will do my best to stream Monday through Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll try to squeeze in what long plays we can on the weekend, though I can't promise anything right now until I have a better handle of when I can move in. And we'll go from there. Expect once we get set up in February, the new location might be a little bit different, space depending. But I don't know. It'll be exciting, and I have a couple cool ideas I want to kind of work in conjunction with this channel. So, carpe diem, right? Seize the day. So yeah, folks, that about does it. That about does it for me. I could always set up at the McDonald's or something on the free Wi-Fi. I could be that homeless guy that's got I don't know, his laptop. So yeah, we will handle it. We'll get it running strong. Folks, if there's any questions, last questions, throw them in the chat. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. It's going to be busy on this end. We're going to get things kind of pinned down, hopefully. Hopefully come Monday, I'll have good news. I'll keep you updated as we stream throughout the next week. So I'm hoping to get the application in, and I should know by Monday, I think, is what the guy told me, whether I'll be approved and everything's a go or not. Yes, good vibes indeed. There's a lot of exciting stuff that's going to be happening this year, mind-blowingly exciting. At least, on the channel side of things, it's growing. I feel incredibly confident we're going to hit that 50 follower mark. Super shout out to Oh Hey It's Jose, by the way. He's our latest follower, bringing us to 44 people in our community, our little crazy corner of the internet. So only 6 more folks gets us to affiliate status, gives us the option to unlock a lot of the cool features in the chat and the community building aspect of things. I'm confident we'll hit that, within the first 6 months of this year. Looking forward to kind of polishing the channel, make it a little more professional in appearance and execution. And like I said, there's some tangential projects I'm looking at running that'll kind of cross over with Quarters Without Borders. Because the idea is that this year I'd like to turn this into an actual 501c3 charitable organization that can go out and, not only raises quarters and money for charities, but can go out and do work in the community and things like that. So, yeah, some cool stuff going ahead. Oh, okay. I think that does it for me, folks. If there are any questions, last questions, throw them in the chat. I will answer them, and then we will sign off for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope this is able to answer any questions you guys have. Hopefully clear up what's been going on. And we'll be back with a normal, as close to normal as I can schedule next week, starting Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Stay tuned for more updates. I'll keep you informed as we go forward the rest of this month. But I'm hoping to have as little downtime as possible during that transition at the end of January into February. It'll be cool. It'll be really cool. I have not touched Bloodborne. It has been very, very, very difficult to not play. Well, the last few days it hasn't been because I've been so busy. But, like, it's been in the back of my mind. It's been in the back of my mind. We have, like, so much to explore. We just uncovered that, like, Inception-esque nightmare within a dream level. I've been mulling that over in my brain so much about what to do next. Grandmaster Poncho, welcome to the channel. Happy Thunderous Thursday. You made it to the woods. Man, you're cruising. Like the snake woods with the snake people. Man, I just play slow, apparently. Man. Well, best of, you might end up we're back on Monday, so I gotta kick it in the high gear here. Yeah, so I know we're jumping off. I think you just jumped on. So just a quick recap. We haven't been streaming the last few days because I found out 3 days ago that I have to move apartments at the end of the month. So 3 days ago, I had like 20 days basically to get a new apartment. So that's why things have been kind of crazy the last couple of days. But we're going to see a sense of normalcy come next week's stream. Oh, the abhorrent, the guy that like you think is just like a normal peasant, then you hit him and he turns into that giant electric werewolf. Yeah, I cheesed him too. I stood like in the doorway of the windmill, and he couldn't fit in the doorway, and I just threw Molotov cocktails at him until he died. Yes! Great minds, my friend. Great minds. All is fair in love and war, right? All is fair in love and war. He's defeated, we're not. It works, it counts. All right, folks. Thanks for tuning in. I hope that was informative. I hope that cleared up, whatever's been going on, all the stuff that's been going on. And yeah, keeping a positive outlook, the importance of, perspective, self-confidence, of believing in yourself, and most paramount, the belief that no matter what happens, you will come out okay. You will either come out on top, you will come out the stronger. If you have that little nugget, kind of like the top spinning in Christopher Nolan's Inception, if you have that at the core of your being, the fiber of your being, infused with this belief of self-confidence that you will make it through no matter what the world throws at you, you can accomplish anything. You can accomplish anything. So that is what we will be doing. Making it through this. So, all right, I'm like 8 minutes over. I'll quit stalling. Folks, have a great rest of your Thunderous Thursday. Have a fantastic Friday and a wonderful weekend ahead. Still, stay safe out there. I know the vaccine's slowly trickling out to places, but stay safe. We're not out of the woods yet, metaphorically speaking, of course. And I hope to catch you Monday morning for our stream at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Back to the basics, back into Bloodborne, picking up where we left off. Full hour and a half. We're going to have some fun with it. More updates, of course, to come. I'll keep you current with how the whole moving and apartment searching process is going. And yeah, looking forward to an exciting new year, not only for our channel, but for whatever you have in your life, your endeavors. Wishing the best, keeping the energy rolling forward. So, ladies and gentlemen, that does it for me. That was our brief little Q&A session and update for our Quarters Without Borders. Have a great rest of your day, folks. Stay safe out there, and as always, happy gaming.